Yesterday we talked about prayer and we quoted the Catechism, number 2567. And there we were reminded that God's initiative of love always comes first, that God is reaching out to us and that God's always taking the initiative in our lives to draw us into deeper communion with Him. Yesterday we talked about that our responsibility in prayer, what we need to do in prayer, is first and foremost just respond to the presence of God that's already there. I think another thing that's really important for us as we realize who God is and how much God really desires to be a part of all of our lives is to make sure that we're still enough so that God can pursue us, and as He pursues us, God can find us. There's a great priest here in the Omaha community, Father Larry Gillick, a member of the Jesuit community here at Creighton, a gifted spiritual director and a man who is really in love with the Lord. Perhaps his spiritual senses have been heightened as one of his physical senses has been taken. Father Larry is blind, but a man who is deeply in love with the Lord and has a real charism for spiritual direction and for leading all of us closer to the Lord. He tells a story of being on vacation one summer, and as he was on vacation in an area that he'd been to several times before, he went on for an afternoon walk. And this particular afternoon, as he was walking in a neighborhood that he'd been to several times before, for whatever reason, got a little disoriented and is lost. So he's lost and he's blind, and he begins to wonder what would wisdom require him to do. So he prays. And as he prays, relating everything to the Lord, he hears the voice of Christ respond back, "Sit down in the middle of the street." And Father Larry responds, that might be one of the silliest things I've ever heard. To which the Lord responded back, "Put yourself in a position to be found." So he sits down in the middle of the street and he hears his car quickly coming right close to him. And this story ends really, really good or really, really bad. And of course it ended well as Father Larry heard the car coming and eventually it stopped. The people in the car actually recognized Father Larry, ask him what he's doing. He says, "I'm putting myself in a position to be found." They say, "Get in a car." He gets in the car, they bring him back home. And as they bring him back home and as he's walking into his door, he realizes that he just learned the most important thing in the spiritual life. That when you're lost and you can't see and you don't know where you're going, simply stop and put yourself in a position to be found. The Catechism says that God calls us first, that God tirelessly takes the initiative to reach out to us and invite us to that mysterious encounter known as prayer. And every one of us knows what it's like to feel lost, and every one of us knows what it's like to be busy or be in desolation or just have things dry. In those moments when you and I struggle in prayer and we don't know what to do, stop, cry out to the Lord, and believe that the truth of God tells us that He's pursuing us. All we need to do is make sure we put ourselves in a position to be found. So many of us get real busy. We live busy lives. We're surrounded by busyness. And sometimes that busyness can invade our spiritual lives, and we can almost think that we have to be equally as busy in prayer as we are outside of prayer. You don't have to do anything to earn God's love. In fact, you don't have to do anything to hope that God's there. He's already with you, and all you have to do is put yourself in a position to be found. For your prayer today, I would encourage you to pray with the prophet Jeremiah, chapter 29, verses 11 through 14. In that great chapter, the Lord, speaking to the voice of the prophet, says to all of us that He has great plans for us, plans for our future full of hope. And when we go to Him, when we seek Him with all of our heart, we will find Him with us, says the Lord. That's great news for all of us, that when we seek God with all our heart, when we put ourselves in a position to be found, we're going to find Him with us. So today as you pray with Jeremiah chapter 29, 11 through 14. God bless you.